Why don't you explain what that means?
Yeah, I get some bad flack for that, I have to admit, because the feminists do come after me, and it's really putting down an entire movement. But I think it's actually in order that we do that right now, because I didn't know it, but I grew up as a feminist. I grew up in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s when the whole feminist movement was really on the rise, and I heard women do nothing but complain about men and put them down, even though they were the breadwinners and taking care of everybody. But for some reason, men were always somebody that you could just slam, and that was a very bad habit for me to grow up feeling like the patriarch was the enemy. And the more I learned about the world, the more anger I had at men, because in my estimate and everything that I was being told by the mainstream media was saying that men were responsible for all the evils of the world, the famines and the wars and the pestilence, and you name it. If it was wrong, it was men's fault. And so, the whole Me Too movement picked up and became such a, fashion show. Actually, unfortunately, I was still in that fashion show. I did a Me Too post at one point. And, it's never to take away from the fact that, personally, I actually have been raped more than once. So I'm in that crowd, but that doesn't make every man a rapist. That's a bunch of bullshit. The whole toxic masculinity thing, you can't get to the bottom of it on Twitter. Literally, you could spend all day and never get to the bottom of all of those hashtags. People that are doing that. When I got woke to what's going on in the world, the fact that everything's a lie, the fact that the governments are not acting in our best interest, the fact that the banks are a total sham, all of that stuff, you name it, then finally I saw that feminism was a movement that was constructed, literally manufactured to break up the family, and I just bought it hook, line, and sinker. It was at that moment I turned around and I saw it. It was also on the wake of losing my father in 2015. He had died, and losing that masculine figure in my life. He was my business mentor. We had a lot of conflict between us, but he was also, he was my masculine role model that I had to follow. And it was at that time I did a lot of very deep healing around the masculine archetype. I saw how I had gone wrong, and I suddenly wanted to redeem myself. And that's part of how the whole King Hero interview series and part of my work came up. I can't stress enough now how much we need our men strong. This is a very, very big mission for me, to support an already strong man to get stronger. Because if they take men in our society down, the whole of society is cooked. I see this now, right? I used to literally get on my soapbox and say how women should take over the world, and now I see what a huge mistake that would be if that happened. And it's become this huge fashion trend. I was way ahead of the trend in having a women-only business for 10 years, putting out that message. Nobody was doing that before. Now everybody is doing that, and it's all the goddess circles and women this and women that. And I'm just backpedaling, going the other direction, going, no, actually, the family's a really good idea. Stay together at all costs, make it work, honor the men in your life, because they are the ones that are going to protect you when the shit falls.